Alright, here's what went down in that courtroom. If you thought the drama ended when the judge put Prince Harry in his place, you're mistaken. What followed inside that London courtroom might have been even more revealing. This wasn't just another routine legal hearing, it felt more like a pressure cooker, ready to explode. At the heart of this battle was a prince who seemed to be losing his grip, his patience, and his ability to control the narrative in his favour. Prince Harry entered the hearing already under intense scrutiny. The judge had already made it abundantly clear in earlier proceedings that his royal status wouldn't grant him any special treatment. This wasn't a stage for symbols, legacies, or titles. The court was focused solely on facts, evidence, and consistency. As the Daily Mail's legal team started presenting their defense, the atmosphere in the courtroom reportedly became tense, with observers noting that Harry was visibly agitated. The defense didn't just counter Harry's claims, they directly attacked the core of his story. The narrative he's been pushing for years, claiming he's been relentlessly targeted, hunted, and persecuted by the British press. This wasn't merely a legal challenge, it was a full-scale confrontation of everything Harry has portrayed as his truth. Prince Harry sat confidently in that London courtroom, certain he could bring down the Daily Mail empire. But then his own lawyer handed over a devastating weapon, his memoir, Spare. The book Harry had boasted about, claiming it was a bestseller and the ultimate truth of his life, was now being used to undermine him with lethal precision. Watching Harry's face drain of colour as his own words were read back to him was nothing short of satisfying karmic justice. Let's break down what happened. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has spent years portraying himself as a victim of media persecution. He took the stand and denied certain conversations ever happened. But then, the Daily Mail's legal team opened up Spare and read passages where Harry himself detailed those very conversations. You can't make this up. The man literally confessed in a $20 million memoir, and then seemed to forget what he had written. The irony here is overwhelming. Harry spent months on his book tour, proclaiming Spare was the most honest account of royal life. Now those same words are being used against him to show he's lying under oath. This was a disaster for Harry's credibility. The courtroom moment was described as catastrophic. Harry appeared to have no idea that this strategy was coming, and that was perhaps the most damning thing of all. Did no one on his legal team check the book's contents? Did Harry forget his own memoir? The situation only worsened from there. This wasn't just a bad day in court, this was a catastrophic collapse of years of legal strategy and millions of pounds spent. Legal experts are calling it a self-inflicted wound, and the damage may be irreversible. Lannis quote. The judge himself issued a warning about the staggering £40 million in legal costs already spent by Harry and the other claimants. That's no small sum, it's enough to fund major humanitarian operations. Instead, it's all going into what's starting to look like a vanity project, driven by one man's desire for revenge. The judge also made it clear that if they lose, they could be on the hook for a significant portion of those costs. For Harry, whose financial situation is already shaky, this represents a massive threat. Harry quote. A Netflix deal is reportedly underperforming. His Spotify partnership fizzled out, and his speaking engagements have dwindled. Now he faces the very real possibility of owing millions in legal fees. Insiders are describing this as a slow-motion train wreck. Harry's legal team seems to have drastically underestimated their position, and the prince himself seems shocked by how prepared the defense was. He walked into the courtroom expecting an easy win and got a legal masterclass in humiliation. But the real question now is whether Harry's credibility has been permanently destroyed. When your own memoir contradicts your testimony, you've lost all credibility in the eyes of the court. And once that's gone, it's nearly impossible to recover. This isn't just about this case. If Harry loses here, his future legal battles will be far more difficult. Who will fund his fights? Who will believe him after his own book proved he was willing to lie in court? Then the Daily Mail's legal team tore him apart, with a conversation Harry swore never happened. When questioned about private discussions with his ex-girlfriend, Harry emphatically denied them. But there they were, in black and white in his memoir. This wasn't just a credibility issue, it was a perjury issue. Lying under oath is a serious offence with criminal consequences. And Harry now finds himself in a position strikingly similar to Rebecca Vardy's infamous case. The courtroom atmosphere was charged. Harry's confidence melted as the defence read from Spare. One observer noted that you could see Harry's confidence evaporate in real time. His legal team appeared uncomfortable, shuffling papers and avoiding eye contact with him. It was clear they hadn't anticipated this line of attack. Or if they had, they underestimated it. But it wasn't just the contradictions in his memoir that hurt Harry's case, it was his combative, argumentative attitude in the courtroom. Multiple times, the judge had to step in to remind Harry of the rules. The prince didn't seem interested in seeking justice. He seemed to want to fight. His emotional display during the trial over Meghan Markle was also criticised. His emotions seemed strategically timed, appearing during friendly questioning by his own lawyer, not cross-examination. When a courtroom full of journalists suspects your tears are fake, you have a serious credibility problem, and then, Harry's hypocrisy reached new heights. In the same courtroom where he was suing the Daily Mail for exploiting his life, Harry had profited off his own story. Spare earned him a $20 million advance. His Netflix deal was worth $100 million. His Spotify partnership was worth $20 million. He had been selling his life for years, yet he sat there complaining about media exploitation. It was breathtakingly hypocritical. Harry also authorized a Daily Mail journalist to speak on his behalf during his legal battle. He used the very publication he was suing to communicate his own message. This contradiction was hammered home during cross-examination, making it clear that Harry couldn't credibly claim to be a victim of media exploitation, while collaborating with the media when it suited him financially. The financial implications of this case are massive. The £40 million already spent is just the beginning. Harry's financial future is uncertain, with his Netflix and Spotify deals underperforming, and his legal bills piling up. His lifestyle is becoming increasingly unsustainable. And all this comes as Harry faces the consequences of a broader pattern of self-sabotage. His memoir **Spare** burned bridges with everyone he might need in the future. His Netflix documentary failed to deliver, and his Spotify deal crashed. Every attempt to recover from these failures seems to lead to more mistakes. The family estrangement that was once seen as a noble sacrifice now looks like the inevitable result of poor judgment. Prince Harry's ongoing legal battle is a high-stakes spectacle, one that has exposed deep cracks in his public persona. While he has long portrayed himself as a crusader against media manipulation, his actions and decisions have raised serious questions about his own motivations and the consequences of his relentless pursuit of privacy. This trial, and the circumstances surrounding it, may serve as the defining chapter in his post-royal life, one that could fundamentally alter how the public and media view him. At the heart of Harry's case is his claim of being a victim of invasive media tactics. He accuses the press, particularly the Daily Mail, of violating his privacy through hacking, surveillance, and other unethical methods. This story has been central to his narrative ever since he and his wife Meghan Markle made the dramatic decision to step back from their royal duties. Their departure was framed as an escape from the constant press scrutiny, a move they believed was necessary for their mental health and well-being. However, this courtroom drama has complicated that narrative. The legal team representing Harry has argued that he has suffered irreparable harm due to the media's alleged actions. They have painted him as a man who has been persistently harassed and whose life has been manipulated by the press for profit. The case seems straightforward on the surface, a wealthy prince seeking justice against an empire of tabloids that had long been a thorn in his side. But as the trial has unfolded, the cracks in Harry's testimony have become too large to ignore. The role of Harry's memoir, Spare in this case, cannot be overstated. The book, which he released to much fanfare, was meant to be his unfiltered truth. It was supposed to serve as the ultimate revelation, a work that would offer an intimate look at his life, his struggles, and his battle against the very forces he was suing in court. However, Spare has become a double-edged sword, one that has exposed his contradictions. Not only did the memoir contradict his testimony in court, but it also raised questions about his motives and his relationship with the media. Harry's decision to profit from his life, while simultaneously claiming victimhood, has placed him in an increasingly difficult position. How can he accuse the press of exploiting his personal life when he has been doing the same thing, albeit in a more controlled and lucrative manner? Adding to the complexity of the situation is the public's perception of Harry and Meghan's financial empire. The couple's exit from the royal family was sold as a step toward independence, away from the constraints of palace life. Yet, their post-royal ventures have been marked by a series of deals that have proven to be underwhelming at best. The Netflix documentary, which was supposed to showcase their journey, turned out to be a poorly received series that didn't meet expectations. The couple's Spotify deal, which promised insightful and candid content, was quickly abandoned after a handful of episodes, leading to speculation that the couple's commercial ventures are more about securing lucrative contracts than delivering on their promises. But it's not just the failed business ventures that have raised eyebrows. Harry's relationship with the media, especially the press he so often criticizes, has been a source of growing controversy. It's no secret that Harry has consistently railed against the media for the way they've covered his personal life. His animosity toward the tabloids, especially the Daily Mail, has fueled much of his public narrative. The question now is whether Harry can recover from this courtroom humiliation. If he loses this case, it could be a financial disaster, and his credibility as a media critic would be completely destroyed. His position as a serious public figure would become untenable. So, what happens next for Prince Harry? Can he rebuild his life, or have we witnessed the final chapters of a prince who had everything and threw it all away? Drop your thoughts below, and stay tuned. You won't believe what's coming next.